Hello everyone and welcome to Power Rangers Stories. Here I bring you the untold and what could have been stories. So sit back, relax and get ready to listen to some more phenomenal adventures. Also don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell to get notifications on the latest videos. And may the power protect you. Ninja Storm, the Pink Ninja Ranger. Chapter 8, Snip It Good. Zoey sat on the rail in front of the bookcase as the other three rangers stood waiting to start their simulation lesson with Sensei. They had cleared everything out of the center of the room for the test, in the hopes that nothing gets broken. Even though they were rangers, they were still ninja students, and still needed to continue with their studies. Only now, you have the head of the academy teaching you. Remember, a ninja's greatest enemy is himself, Sensei told them. He bowed his head and three simulated duplicates of the rangers appeared before them. You may begin, he instructed. Zoey just grinned at the confused looks on their faces. Oh, okay. No, I get it. It's a ninja stare contest, right? Dustin grinned and opened his eyes even wider to stare at his clone, who didn't even move. Shane frowned over in Dustin's direction. Maybe we're supposed to fight, he suggested, turning to Tori who just shrugged in response. Okay, dude, I don't care how good-looking you are, you're still going down, Dustin taunted as he slid into a defensive stance alongside Shane, with their clones mimicking their actions. Dustin knocked his clone's fist down, giggling until the replica did the same and smirked back. As the two male ninjas started to fight their copies, Zoey snickered as she watched the mess in front of her. Unbelievable. Tori looked at her clone in confusion. She looked from the guys and back to her own copy. You guys, I really don't think we're supposed to be fighting ourselves, she told them softly, before her eyes lit up in realization. That's it, isn't it? She smiled at her clone, who winked and disappeared. Tori grinned as she looked over at Shane and Dustin, their replicas had just thrown them to the floor. The simulation ended and the clones disappeared as they lay groaning on the ground. Ouch. That sounded like it hurt. Zoey giggled as the two sat up. Tori 1, boys 0. Just further proof that girls rule. Why is it so hard for guys to follow directions? Cam smirked as he walked in. Am I included in that? He asked, high-fiving Zoey as he passed her on his way up the stairs to the bookcases. Not even close. I'm tougher than I thought I was. Shane complained. I can't believe I kicked my own butt, Dustin moaned as Cam walked over to a shelf and started searching through it, and Sensei landed beside him. Congratulations, Tori, Sensei nodded to the water ninja as they all walked over. Dustin and Shane looked confused. Tori, they exclaimed. But she didn't do anything. Dustin protested in disbelief. Precisely, Sensei replied, and the two stopped. He who battles himself can never emerge victorious, he told them as Kim lifted a scroll from the shelf. Ninja Basics 101, he nodded as he upped the scroll. Oh, right, yeah. I must have been sick that day, Dustin commented. Sometimes caution is what wins the day, Sensei spoke softly as he looked at them. This is why it will be Tori who will seek the jade turtle, Tori frowned a little. Why do we need this turtle thing anyway? Dustin questioned curiously, looking up at their teacher. When we revived the Zords, several key power spheres were kept hidden, Cam explained as he leaned forward, rolling up the little scroll. Only to be retrieved when you mastered the skills necessary to do so, Sensei continued for his son. One of those spheres happened to belong to a fierce fox warrior? Zoey inquired. Cam looked at her, sorry, no. He continued when she frowned at him, I'm working on it. Yeah. I hope I don't let you down, Sensei, Tori looked at Sensei, covering her mouth to keep from smiling at their pink ranger. Trust in yourself, Sensei told her as Shane patted her back. Your inner ninja will show you the way. And this is in case your inner ninja gets lost, Cam grinned and held out the scroll to Tori. She smiled, thanking him and taking the scroll. Hey, Tori, you'll be great, Shane told the water ninja, who looked nervous. Thanks, Tori smiled at them as Zoey and Dustin nodded, before looking around at Cam and Sensei. She smiled at them and headed off to look for the jade turtle. So, what do we do while Tori's turtle hunting? Dustin asked as he clapped a hand on Shane's shoulder. The two walked forward with grins, as Zoey watched them curiously. I'm glad you brought that up, Dustin. Sensei sounded a little amused as Cam grinned as well, not so subtle about it. I have a special ninja project for the two of you, while Dustin and Shane frowned in confusion. What about Zoey? Dustin asked. Zoey has a mission of her own, Sensei said, at the Flame Academy. What? Why? Shane looked over at Zoey. I thought the Flame Academy was destroyed? It was, Cam interjected, but I received a heat signature there this morning. So Zoey is going to go and investigate. Remember to be on alert, Zoey. Sensei cautioned, there's no telling what you may find. Don't worry, Sensei. I'll be careful. Zoey walked through the remains of the Flame Academy feeling sad. I can't believe this. Everything is gone. She thought, walking past a collapsed temple. I promise Lothar is going to pay for this. The fire ninja kept going, deeper into the academy grounds. She looked around. Remembering. A ninja's powers flow through them. You are the fox, Zoey. You must tap into your powers and welcome the fox as your spirit guide. Zoey just stared. How do I do that? Sensei looked over at her. Everyone has an animal spirit. Once you've tapped into that power, train yourself to control it. The possibilities are limitless. She continued. But it's not enough to just train and control it. You must be able to become one with your spirit. That is why I would like you to start training in the ways of Paizuk. Zoey looked confused. Paizuk? What is that? Sensei looked at her. Paizuk is a form of kung fu taught by a sister academy called the Order of the Claw. Instead of training your element, they train you to control your animal spirit. But Sensei, I'm only 15. I haven't even finished high school, much less my ninja training. She looked desperate. How am I supposed to start training at a different school when I haven't completed my other studies? You will only train on the weekends. The fire you possess is strong. I believe if you train your animal spirit to connect with your ninja fire, it will bring you the balance you need. Okay, Sensei. Zoey conceded, I will do as you ask. Zoey stopped thinking. She sat down on the ground and closed her eyes. As she meditated, pink flames rose up around her. The energy built up and gathered around her. When she opened her eyes, there stood a beautiful pink fox spirit. The fox stared into her, now pink, eyes before taking off. It sped through the academy so fast all you saw were pink energy streaks. Zoey stood up and waited. Finally, the fox came back to her. She bowed her body, so her head touched her paws, then stood back up. Then ran over to a collapsed well. Zoey followed her, interested to see what she found. She stopped for a moment and listened. What is that? She spoke out loud, confused. She thought she was hearing animal sounds coming from inside the well. Before she could do anything though, her morpher beeped. Go for Zoey, she said in the morpher. Zoey, the others need your help. Cam told her. What's going on, Cam? An alien called Snipster just attacked an international peace conference, Cam answered. Zoey looked at the well. All right, I'm on my way. She turned to her fox. Can you stay here until I get back? Protect whoever is in that well? The fox nodded before she disappeared inside the well. Hope she can get out. Firestorm. Ranger form. Ha! After morphing, Zoey Ninja streaked back to Blue Bay. She showed up just as the boys had stopped fighting. They stumbled away from each other, shaking their heads. Whoa, Sensei was just talking in my head, Shane frowned as he put a hand to his helmet. Sometimes that guy makes no sense, Dustin shook his head with a grin and got to his feet. Hold on, why were you guys fighting? Zoey asked as she looked from Shane to Dustin. We were under a spell, dude. Dustin clapped his friend on the shoulder as Zoey shook her head at them. Oh, do you think? Snipster spoke up, and they looked over at him. Hey, and he made us do it. Dustin realized. Nice try, Scissorhands. Shane yelled as he pointed at him. But nothing can break us apart for long. Then I'll split you up the old-fashioned way. Snipster yelled and ran at them. Ninja Shadow Battle. Dustin yelled out as the three ninjas attacked him. The monster sparked before he disappeared in an explosion. Lightning clashed as Dustin, Shane, and Zoey appeared in the quarry where they ran to the aid of Tori. Hope we're not too late, Dustin. Me too, Shane nodded, before Tori jumped down and ran over to them. She lowered her visor and grinned widely, and the others lowered their own visors. We got here as fast as we could. Are you okay? Shane asked. No problems, Tori grinned, and held up the jade turtle proudly. Everything is taken care of, she told them as they looked down at it. Hey. You got the turtle. Right on. Dustin grinned as Zoey leaned closer to study it. Doesn't look like much, she commented, hope there's more to it than this. Yeah, well. Mara, Capri, and I worked out a little deal, she smiled. Before the others could ask her what she meant, Snipster showed back up, towering over them. Now, for the final cut, he declared. Man, this guy is sheer torture. Cam, the Zords, Shane called into his morpher. First you have to break the turtle, Tori, Cam told them, horrifying Tori. Hurry, he called as Tori looked at the turtle in her hands. Does he have any idea what I went through to get this thing? Tori asked as she held it to her chest. Better do as he says, Zoey suggested. Right, Tori nodded, rushing over to a rock and smashed it open. What's this? A tiny scroll fell out and rolled off the rock. Cam, are you reading this? Tori asked as she opened it to reveal coding. Got it, Cam answered, I'm sending the Zords. I'll let you know when I have the new codes online. You guys ready? Tori called. Oh yeah, they leapt into their Zords and formed the Megazord. Zoey activated Fox Warrior mode on her Zord. Tori called on the Serpent Sword, and they swung it, as Snipster ran at them. He blocked it and slashed across their front with his scissors. Zoey flipped over him and whipped him with her tail. Rangers, I'm offloading the codes to you by power disc. Cam told them, sending the Megazord a new weapon. The new weapon is called the Turtle Mace, and it's amazing, he exclaimed. The Wind Rangers called on their new weapon and threw it at Snipster, hitting him over and over. I've been shell-shocked. Snipster exclaimed in horror. Turtle Mace. Maximum power. The mace began to glow blue and slammed into Snipster one final time before he collapsed to the ground as the Rangers cheered for their latest victory. When Zoey walked back into Ninja Ops, returning from the Flame Academy, Cam was returning the two scrolls to their place on the shelves. The statue was the hiding place for the Turtle Mace technology, he explained as he closed off the bookshelf before walking back down. Hey, Zoey. He said looking at the bundle in her arms. What's that? This is the heat signature that was detected at the Flame Academy. She held the bundle to reveal a blonde baby fox. Meet Kit. Kit huddled against her, she had somehow wedged herself through some boards and fell down a well. Tori came over to pet her, she is so pretty. What kind of fox is she? I don't think I've ever seen her kind before. If I'm not mistaken, Cam said as he and the others came over, and I rarely am, she's a fennec fox. He scratched her ear, how she got here is beyond me. Fennec foxes live in South Africa and Asia for the most part. Actually, Sensei Rekka used to breed them, Zoe explained. I looked all over and couldn't find her skulk or den anywhere. So, I brought her here. She looked over at Sensei. Is that okay, Sensei? I'll take care of her. And I can train her not to chase you. She grinned at him. Sensei laughed. I would like for you to double check with your brother first, as I'm sure you'll be moving in with him once Lothar is defeated, but I do not mind. He looked at Kit. I am not food. Everyone laughed as Kit eyed him. Why did you name her Kit? Dustin asked. Well, a baby fox is sometimes called a cub or a kit, and the Japanese word for fox is kitsune. Zoe explained. It just seemed to work. Speaking of work, how did the conference turn out? Tori asked curiously as they walked over to Sensei. Though the city leaders resolved many issues, Lothar still remains a threat to Blue Bay Harbor, Sensei explained as he looked up at them. Good thing we got their backs, Shane spoke, and the others nodded. Yes, it is, Sensei agreed. I wonder if Mara and Capri learned anything from this little adventure? Tori asked. Yeah, never underestimate the persuasive powers of a Blue Ranger, Zoe commented, but knowing those two, probably not. Zoe picked up her bag. If you'll excuse me, I'm gonna introduce my brother to my new little friend. Then I need to find her some food. She started to walk out, but stopped. No matter what trouble Snipster was able to cause, he should have known it would only be temporary. Nothing can sever the bonds of the Power Rangers. That's it for Chapter 8 of Ninja Storm, the Pink Ninja Ranger. I'll be having a lot more of this series out soon, continuing the Pink Ranger story. Remember, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and turn on the bell. As always, may the power protect you, and see you for the next adventure.